Due to numerous attacks on oil refineries in Russia, firefighters are complaining about a shortage of basic equipment, such as fire hoses. A video of the possible reason for this shortage has appeared online. Dozens of fire hoses, hundreds of meters long, are being pulled to the Moscow oil refinery. The Moscow Ministry of Emergency Situations employees are being transferred to an enhanced work mode until September the 9th.
The measures include posting guards, introducing reserve shifts, and equipment that must be in combat readiness and ready for work. The video shows another measure: more than a dozen firehouses near the Moscow oil refinery. Earlier, it became known that school assembly in Moscow will be held indoors this year and not outdoors. From the Telegram channel CHTD.
Meanwhile, emergency services in the regions complain about the lack of fire foam, which is why the oil depots located there have been burning for days. On August the 28th, the Atlas oil refinery in the Rostov region was attacked by drones for the second time. The next day, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine confirmed that the oil depot was attacked by the Defense Forces and the main intelligence directorate.
The tasks were carried out by units of the Special Operation Forces and the Armed Forces and the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, in cooperation with other units of the Defense Forces. Detailed information on the consequences of the damage is being clarified. The Ukrainian Defense Forces continue to take all measures to undermine the military and economic potential of the Russian occupiers and stop Russian armed aggression against Ukraine. From the message of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Facebook.
That same night, Ukraine launched a drone strike on the Zenit oil depot in the Kyiv region, located 2,000 kilometers from the border. Zenit provides fuel to Russian troops fighting in Ukraine. Also on the night of August the 28th, UAVs attacked an ammunition depot in the Voronezh region, which is why the authorities had to evacuate 2 villages.
The fewer functioning oil depots are located closer to the border, the more difficult it is to provide Russian occupation troops with fuel and lubricants. Logistics plays an important role in the delivery of fuel and lubricants to frontline units, and most of the oil depots at risk are those that store and send products to Russian troops. Alexander Kovalenko, military expert on the social network X.
Since the beginning of the year, drones have attacked Russian oil refineries at least 64 times, the BBC reported. At some refineries, primary oil refining units have stopped working. At least 7 Russian oil refineries shut down their production in the first quarter. After successful attacks on the refineries, the Kremlin classified data on diesel fuel production. Now statistics on the gasoline market are unavailable. The Federation announced an extension of the ban on petrol exports until the end of August, then until the end of autumn, and now until next year.
Можно ожидать увеличения дефицита.
We can expect an increase in the deficit, and since Russia cancelled exports in order to overcome the deficit, there are no funds to compensate for these losses. Therefore, producers will be forced to raise domestic prices in order to receive additional funds, including for repairs. When there was export, currency came from it, and due to the external receipts, domestic prices can be maintained. But since oil companies do not have such an additional source of money, price increases are simply inevitable.
Drones attack Russian oil depots, warehouses with military equipment and airfields. This is how Ukraine defends itself from Russian attacks. During the mass shelling on the morning of August the 26th, drones struck the Russian airbase Engels near Saratov. It was from there that the Tu-95 bomber was launched to shell Ukrainian territory. Today, thanks to its own production, Ukraine already has drones that can cover 3,000 kilometers and hit targets deep in Russia. These drones can fly to Siberia. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Victoria Smirnova, UATV News.